Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Adwaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So this morning we're going to speak on the pastimes of Adwaita Acharya. Adwaita Acharya, of course, is Mahavishnu and Sadashiva coming to take part in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when the Lord comes, he comes along with many of his associates. And some of the associates, they come before the Lord comes. Just like Adwaita Acharya, he appeared in this before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was many, many years senior to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, it was Adwaita Acharya who was responsible for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descending into this world. Adwaita Acharya considered the situation in Navadvip. He saw the condition, how the people were all worshipping demigods, and the brahmanas were engaging in so many karmakandi activities, and so many irreligious practices also going on as well. And so Adwaita Acharya considered the situation to be impossible for him to rectify. So he prayed that the Supreme Lord himself, Swayam Bhagavan, would come and descend from the spiritual world and help to and arrange to deliver the souls from the material world. So he studied the scriptures and he came across a verse which described that the Lord becomes obliged to whoever offers him Ganges water and tulsi leaves. So Adwaita Acharya offered, his home in Shantipur was at that time was right beside the Ganga, and he would take Ganges water and tulsi leaves and he would call to the Lord to come down from the spiritual world to deliver the conditioned souls. But Adwaita Acharya never actually knew when the Lord was going to come. He did not have information. And when, of course, he knew Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, and when they gave birth to a son, then Adwaita Acharya and his wife had also gone there and they'd made offerings, and they were very happy to see that Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata had been blessed with a second son. But they did not know that at this time that this was actually the Lord. So Adwaita Acharya had also a home in Mayapur, which was not very far away from the home of Jagannath Mishra. And Adwaita Acharya would hold discourses in his home every day. People would gather there to hear him discuss and explain the scriptures, just like we have classes in our centers. So Adwaita Acharya was doing the same in his home. And the older brother of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go there, and he used to hear the discourses given by Adwaita Acharya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's older brother was known by the name Vishwarup. And Vishwarup, it said Vishwarup is Sankarshan, who has come to take part in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Vishwarup was daily going to the home of Adwaita Acharya and hearing the scriptures. And sometimes Mother Sachi would send her younger son, who Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Nimai, to go tell your brother to come, food is ready, he should come home and take his meals. And at that time, Adwaita Acharya would see Nimai, and he would also think that he looks like a very divine personality. He had all auspicious features in his body. But still, there was no indication that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually the Supreme Lord. So it happened in course of time that Vishwarup was growing up, and Mother Sachi and Mother Sachi thought it would be good to get Vishwarup married, and they wanted to arrange his marriage. But when Vishwarup understood that his parents were going to arrange his marriage, he decided himself to leave home. And he just simply left home. And of course he went off and he took sannyas, and he never came home again. So after some time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed himself as the Supreme Lord. And he sat on the altar in the home of Srivas Thakur, and he called the devotees to come and take blessings from him. And he called for Adwaita Acharya. And Adwaita Acharya, he was in Shantipur at this time. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent the younger brother of Srivas named Ramai. He said, you go there to Shantipur, call Adwaita Acharya to come. So Adwaita Acharya, he came, but he did not immediately go to the home of Srivas Pandit. Instead, Adwaita Acharya went to the home of Nandan Acharya. Those of you who have been to Mayapur will know the home of Nandan Acharya. It's like the next door neighbor to our ISKCON center. The first temple down the road from ISKCON going towards the Ghat previously was the home of Nandan Acharya. Now there's a Gaudiya Math temple there. So Adwaita Acharya hid himself in the home of Nandan Acharya. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is omniscient. So he proved his omniscience by saying to the devotees that Adwaita Acharya is hiding in the home of Nandan Acharya. Tell him to come. So Adwaita Acharya came there and he surrendered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and joined in all the pastimes. So on one occasion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving love of God to all the devotees. And he was giving blessing, he was blessing them all with Krishna Prem. So then the devotees said, Mother Sachi, she should also get Krishna Prem. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to the devotees, no, I cannot give blessings to Mother Sachi. She cannot get Krishna Prem. So all the devotees were very shocked that Mother Sachi, your own mother, you're not going to give her Krishna Prem? Why is that? And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, because she is an offender. She has committed an offense against devotee. So all the devotees were shocked, and they asked Lord Chaitanya, what offense could Mother Sachi ever have committed? And Lord Chaitanya explained to the devotees that when my brother left home, my mother has considered the cause of Vishwarup leaving home to be his association with Adwaita Acharya. That because Vishwarup was regularly going there to the home of Adwaita Acharya and hearing the Shastras from him, he did not want to enter into family life, and he left home and renounced the world. So Mother Sachi did not see directly, but within her mind she was thinking like that. And Lord Chaitanya understand the thinking of his mother. And in this way, he wanted to correct all the devotees, how cautious they should be not to offend any devotee. So all the devotees called for Adwaita Acharya to come. That Adwaita Acharya, you have to come, you have to give forgiveness to Mother Sachi. And Adwaita Acharya said, what? Me? I cannot forgive Mother Sachi. She is the Divine Mother. I worship her lotus feet. How can I ever give forgiveness to her? She could never commit any offense against me. Anyway, they brought Adwaita Acharya there, and they brought also Mother Sachi. That Mother Sachi, you have to be forgiven for your offenses against Adwaita Acharya. So Adwaita Acharya, when he was coming, he was so becoming so emotional that finally, when he got there to Mayapur, and that he fainted. He collapsed on the floor. And when he collapsed on the floor, then they told Mother Sachi, quick, go now, take the dust from the feet of Adwaita Acharya. Because Adwaita would never allow Mother Sachi to touch his lotus feet. They said, I worship her lotus feet. But when he collapsed on the floor, they told Mother Sachi, now's the time, quick, go, take the dust from his feet. And in this way, Mother Sachi became relieved of her offenses, of her very minor offense against Adwaita Acharya. So Lord Chaitanya was instructing devotees like this through this pastime with Mother Sachi. Another important pastime concerning Adwaita Acharya was concerning his secretary. Adwaita Acharya had one secretary named Kamalakanta Vishwasa. Now this Kamalakanta Vishwasa, he wrote a note to the king of Puri, to Maharaj Prataparudra. And in this note, he said, Adwaita Acharya is the personality of Godhead. But he has a debt of 300 rupees. So he was asking the king of Puri that you please, can you give 300 rupees to liquidate this debt for Adwaita Acharya? So this note happened to come into the hands of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Chaitanya saw the note, he was pleased because he thought, oh, very good. He has understood Adwaita Acharya is the personality of Godhead. But when he read the second part of the note, that he's in debt 300 rupees, Lord Chaitanya was not pleased. He said, this is not proper. What kind of behavior is this? How can he say like that? That on one hand, he's the personality of Godhead, and on the other hand, he's in debt 300 rupees. What kind of God is this? So Lord Chaitanya was very upset. He said, and he told Adwaita Acharya, your Kamalakanta Vishvasa should not come in my association again. Adwaita Acharya said, why are you punishing him like that? And Lord Chaitanya explained the Rasabhasa, that he says, you're the personality of Godhead and you owe 300 rupees. And still Adwaita Acharya said, why are you giving him more punishment than you gave me? Adwaita Acharya was referring to how he had been punished by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Adwaita Acharya was so much senior in age to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come and take the dust from the feet of Adwaita Acharya. He would respect him like his own father. And Adwaita Acharya would get angry because he said, you are the Lord. I am not the Lord. I am your servant. And Lord Adwaita Acharya, he would want to take the dust from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a young man, tall and strong, and Adwaita Acharya could not take the dust from Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya would take the dust from his feet. So Adwaita Acharya was very upset with this. So he decided that he will make Lord Chaitanya angry. So what he did was, instead of preaching the message of the Bhagavatam, he began to preach the message from the Yoga Vasishta, a scripture called Yoga Vasishta. And in this Yoga Vasishta, they give importance to impersonal Brahman, to Sayuja Mukti. And they speak about the Brahman, achieving the Brahman as the goal of life. So Adwaita Acharya was holding discourses explaining that the goal of life is to merge, to get Sayuja Mukti, to become one with the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got the news that Adwaita Acharya is preaching about this. He's preaching this Mayavada philosophy. So Lord Chaitanya immediately set off from Mayapur. He walked all the way to Shantipur. It's quite a distance. When we go there, it's more than an hour, nearly 2 hours in the vehicle to go there. But Lord Chaitanya walked very fast and in a very angry mood all the way to Shantipur. And when he came there to Shantipur, he grabbed Adwaita Acharya and he picked him up and threw him on the ground and began to beat him. And his wife, Adwaita Acharya's wife, came running and screaming, "Oh, you're going to kill my husband. Oh, don't kill him, please." But Adwaita Acharya was very happy. He was enjoying this. He thought, now my life is successful. Lord Chaitanya was no longer taking the dust from his feet. Instead, he was chastising him, beating him. And he told him, "I was lying peacefully in the spiritual world, and your calling woke me up. You called me to come here, and now you're doing like this. You're speaking this Mayavada philosophy. What kind of nonsense is this?" Adwaita Acharya was smiling because he had done this intentionally just to arouse the anger of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Adwaita Acharya, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this Kamalakanta Vishvasa should not come in my association again, Adwaita Acharya complained. He said, why are you giving him more mercy than I got? You should understand that to be chastised by the superior is mercy. When we get punished or corrected by the superior, we should think of that as mercy. So Adwaita Acharya said to Lord Chaitanya, you're giving more mercy to him than I got. When I was preaching something you didn't like, you just came and beat me, but you never banned me from your association. But you're giving him a bigger punishment than I got. Why are you doing like that? So Lord Chaitanya was defeated. He smiled. He said, all right, call your secretary here. And Lord Kamalakanta Vishvasa was brought in. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to him and to all the devotees that we must be very careful in where we accept charity from. Because Adwaita Acharya, Kamalakanta Vishvasa's mistake was first of all in saying that Adwaita Acharya is God and he's in debt. Of course, God can never be in debt because personality of Godhead means he is Bhagavan and he has all the opulences. So he is not in debt to anyone. So to say he is in debt is rasabasa. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to point out that you should be very cautious about where you accept charity from. Because the note was written to the king of Puri, requesting the king of Puri to pay the debt for Adwaita Acharya. And Lord Chaitanya considered a king to be a materialistic person, a Vishayi. Of course, we know Maharaj Prataparudra to be a great devotee, but at this particular point, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not yet recognized Maharaj Prataparudra. And he was telling all the devotees that when you accept charity from a materialistic person, then you also accept some contamination. You accept some of their karma. Prabhupada warned devotees many times of the importance of where you accept food. That if you take food from materialistic people who are not devotees, then you take also their sins. So he warned us never to accept food in the home of non-devotees. He said, you can accept only uncut fruit. That is allowed. Otherwise, you shouldn't accept, particularly grains. The sinful activities of people is in their grains. And if you accept grains from materialistic people, then it is contaminating. And similarly, if we accept money from people who are sinful or who have acquired the money by some sinful means, then you also incur karma. You take also some karmic reaction. Of course, we can accept donations from people for the service of Krishna. If we give everything to Krishna, then there's no karma. But if we accept charity for our own self, then we have to be very, very careful. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya instructed the devotees again. So Another pastime where Adwaita Acharya was involved was where Lord Nityananda came to take prasadam at the home of Adwaita Acharya. Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they came to the home of Adwaita Acharya to take prasadam. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had just taken sannyas. And so he was thinking, I'm a sannyasi, I should not eat opulent foodstuffs. As he asked Adwaita Acharya, you please just give me some little sak, spinach, sak, and some rice. That will be enough. Adwaita Acharya said, don't worry, I have arranged everything. So there were 3 plates, like offerings, and they were both very big. They were all big. The 3 plates were all very big, and they were full of many wonderful preparations, and there were many dishes at the side. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to see the offering to the Lord. But then Adwaita Acharya requested Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda to sit down and take prasadam. And Lord Chaitanya was protesting that, no, I cannot accept so much. This is much too much. I only want a little sak and a little rice. But Adwaita Acharya insisted, please just cooperate. You kindly sit down and take your food. However, Lord Nityananda, in a joking mood, he said, I have been fasting for 3 days, because they had come from Katwa after Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas, and they came to Shantipur. So about 3 days, he said, I have been fasting 3 days. He said, such a meager portion of food, it will not fill even a portion of my belly. Adwaita Acharya requested Lord Nityananda, please, I am a poor Brahmin. You kindly accept whatever humble offering I'm making to you. I cannot give more. I'm giving as much as I can manage. You please kindly accept whatever food is available in my home. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they sat down in the home of Adwaita Acharya and took food. Lord Chaitanya would eat about half of each preparation, and after he'd eaten half, Adwaita Acharya would come and fill up again. And in this way, Adwaita Acharya was serving more and more. However, Lord Nityananda, he was complaining. He was saying, this is not satisfying my appetite even a fraction. I came here to eat. Why are you causing me to fast again? It seems like I'm having still to fast. Adwaita Acharya said, you please take your food. Please stop complaining. You just take your food. Behave like a normal person. However, Lord Nityananda stood up and he took some of the food and he threw it. And some of the rice hit the leg of Adwaita Acharya. And Adwaita Acharya began to dance. So it was significant because this is showing that the remnants of the food of the Vaishnavas has great spiritual potency. Because that food was from Lord Nityananda and it touched the body of Adwaita Acharya, Adwaita Acharya began to dance in ecstasy. But of course he complained to Lord Nityananda that this is Mahaprasadam. You should not throw prasadam. But Lord Nityananda said, this food He said, you have committed an offense. You're committing an offense against me. He said, the punishment will be you have to feed 100 brahmanas. And so Adwaita Acharya said, I'm never inviting a brahmana to my home again. This is the last time. After your behavior like this, I'm never going to have people to my home again. And so in this way, some joking words were exchanged always between Lord Nityananda and Adwaita Acharya, because they were two very different personalities. Adwaita Acharya, he was the head of all the brahmanas in Navadvip. And Nityananda, he had come from Ekachakra. So they would often criticize Nityananda, that nobody knows your origin. We do not know who you are. What kind of person are you? Unusual person. Adwaita Acharya, he was more aristocratic. So Adwaita Acharya, he lived there in Shantipur, and he had 6 sons. But of his 6 sons, only 3 were devotees, and 3 were like the limbs of a body which had been cut off from the body. 3 of the sons accepted the Adwaita philosophy. They became like Mayavada. Because Adwaita Acharya had been preaching Yoga Vasishta, so they had heard this Mayavada philosophy and they had embraced it. They thought, yeah, this is a real philosophy, this is a real goal. So these 3 sons who followed the Adwaita Acharya rejected them. And 3 sons, they were devotees. And the main son was Achyutananda. He was a great preacher and a great devotee. One of the Adwaita Acharya's sons, he was engaged in cleaning the temple in Gundicha on the day of, the day before Gundicha Marjana, cleaning the temple before the Rath Yatra. So they were cleaning the temple, and at one point they were having kirtan, and then the son of Adwaita Acharya, he was dancing in the kirtan, and then he collapsed. He fainted, unconscious. And the devotees all thought that even he had left the body. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and put his hand on his chest and revived him. So Lord Chaitanya had very intimate dealings with the sons of Adwaita Acharya. They were all very dear devotees. The 3 sons were dear. The 3 sons who were not devotees, they were rejected. So every year Adwaita Acharya would go there to Jagannath Puri. After Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Adwaita Acharya would like to go there and visit Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, take part in the Rath Yatra festival and have association with Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya was becoming more and more immersed in Radha Bhav, and it became time for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to finish his pastimes. So Adwaita Acharya, he wrote a letter, he sent a letter to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in that note, he told Lord Chaitanya how the supply of rice is already more than enough. There is no more business, that we've already supplied as much as we could to everyone. And everyone has a full stock, they don't need any more. And so the message was written in a code which could not be easily understood. But after Lord Chaitanya received this message from Adwaita Acharya, then the mood of Lord Chaitanya intensified many, many times. And he became more and more deeper immersed in the mood of Radha Bhava. And after receiving that note, just a short time later, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished his pastimes in this world and left this world. And some say he entered into the Jagannath deity, some say he entered into Tota Gopinath deity, and some say he just disappeared at Konark. So Adwaita Acharya, we can see he's one of the very, very principal associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is also Vishnu Tattva. Just as Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu are Vishnu Tattva, Adwaita Acharya is also Vishnu Tattva. Srivas is the marginal potency and Gadadhar is the internal potency. Adwaita Acharya is the Lord, the incarnation of the Lord. And he has come to, we said, he called the Lord here, and he also gave the signal to the Lord to return to this world. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in this world for 48 years, Adwaita Acharya was already a married man by the time Lord Chaitanya appeared. And by the time Lord Chaitanya finished his pastimes, Adwaita Acharya was still here. Adwaita Acharya remained in this world for, I think, more, how many years? Many, many years. He had a long life. And Shantipur was a place which was very dear to Srila Prabhupada. That before Prabhupada went to America, he would regularly go to Shantipur. And he would go there and he would sit there and chant japa. Before he had gone to America, he'd gone there many times and he would sit there and he would chant japa. And it happened that the one pujari there in Shantipur, he knew Prabhupada. And after Prabhupada came back from America and had begun the ISKCON society, then this pujari, he happened to get a book and he saw Prabhupada's picture and he recognized him. And then he met the devotees and he heard about how Prabhupada had gone there to America. And so the man was remembering how Prabhupada had spoken to him, how he'd been sitting there in Shantipur one day crying. And the pujari asked him, "What are you shedding tears about?" He said, "Because I have to go to the West. My spiritual master has ordered me to go to the West to distribute this message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it is very difficult." But the pujari was so happy to see that Prabhupada had been successful in his mission. And Prabhupada even had told devotees that he was thinking to make Shantipur the headquarters of the ISKCON society. If we had not been successful in getting the land in Mayapur, then Prabhupada was ready to make Shantipur the world headquarters for ISKCON. And so we can understand something more the significance and the role of Adwaita Acharya and Shantipur in relation to the Krishna consciousness movement. Okay, are there any questions? We have 10 more minutes yet. Maybe there's some question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. If we have to take one or two good qualities of Acharya, Adwaita Acharya, what is that you recommend us to follow?
What good qualities should we take from Adwaita Acharya? Well, we can understand his complete submission to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he's completely surrendered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he wants to dedicate everything for the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The chanting of the holy name, the preaching of Krishna consciousness. We cannot imitate, of course, somebody like Adwaita Acharya, that we said he's Vishnu Tattva. So he has a special relationship with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which we cannot imitate. But we can understand his complete devotion and surrender to Lord Chaitanya's mood. That he wanted very much to deliver the fallen souls. As we said, that when he was calling Lord Chaitanya here, that he considered himself unable to deliver the fallen souls. And he considered the Lord himself has to come and deliver them. So he had that mood, he has the mood of compassion, that he's thinking how to deliver the fallen souls. So we want to take that kind of mood. We also want to call Lord Chaitanya here. And Lord Chaitanya comes in the form of his deity. We have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu upstairs there. He has come in the deity form. And he has come also in the form of his holy name. We chant the name of Gauranga. Right? So, the Lord Chaitanya, we can also take that same mood as Adwaita Acharya and think how to deliver the fallen souls by calling out the name of Gauranga and giving them the holy name of Krishna. All of these things can help us to please Lord Chaitanya and to fulfill the mission of Adwaita Acharya in delivering the fallen souls. So, let me see what's here. The question is, if Adwaita Acharya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Chaitanya is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how do we understand the difference? Or are they one? Yes, one and different. That's our philosophy, right? Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. Simultaneously one and different. We are worshipping the Pancha Tattva. So the Pancha Tattva, we have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have Lord Nityananda, who is the expansion of the Lord, none different from Lord Balaram. We said Adwaita Acharya is the incarnation of the Lord. He's also Mahavishnu or Sadashiva. And Gadadhar is the internal potency of the Lord, and Srivas is the marginal potency. Gadadhar, we said, is a combination of Srimati Radharani and Lalita Saki, and Srivas is Narada Muni. So in this way, 5 truths, the absolute truth, 5 features of the absolute truth, one and different. Yes, we said they're different. In one sense they're one, but in another sense they're different. So there is Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Adwaita Acharya. Right? If you go, for example, Pushti Marg, in Pushti Marg, they refer to Balaba Acharya as Mahaprabhu. They have another Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya, generally we talk of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being the Mahaprabhu. Adwaita Acharya, all three are Vishnu Tattva. They're on the same level as Lord Vishnu. But you have to make some distinction because they are different, right? So one is Adwaita Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu. Again? Yes, Prabhu?
Maharaj, how do we understand the unique relationship that Adwaita Acharya shared with Nityananda Prabhu? Because both of them were like mad in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, they're both devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but they're different. They're different personalities. Just like in our ISKCON society, we have so many people, so many devotees, and there's different kinds of people. And there will be differences, different understanding. It said because Adwaita Acharya is a Brahman, he's the head of the Brahman community. So then Lord Nityananda delivered Jagai and Madhai. So Adwaita Acharya protested that, oh no, we got to have those two in our community also. Jagai and Madhai, they're going to be with us also. Those two people, they were so fallen and so sinful, they're also going to be with us. So Adwaita Acharya, because he's a caste Brahman, but he's also he's a Vaishnava. He's a great devotee. So sometimes these joking words would take place between devotees. But there was always harmony. They always cooperated together for the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Nityananda would do his preaching, and Adwaita Acharya, he would do his preaching. Just like in our ISKCON society, we have so many preachers. They're preaching in different ways, in different places. They have their different followers, but ultimately it's one. Ultimately they all come together. Whenever there is Rath-yatra or some big festival, all the devotees come together and there's harmony. Because that is the nature of the spiritual world. That in the spiritual world there is variety. But there is also harmony. It's not that everyone is the same. So Lord Nityananda and Adwaita Acharya, they were quite different personalities. And sometimes there would be joking words, which some people may take, if you took the word seriously, then you would make a mistake. Because actually they were both completely devoted to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And often these joking words are said to give some kinds of instruction to us. I think it was Adwaita Acharya called Lord Nityananda a reject Paramahamsa. A reject Paramahamsa. Actually, it's a glorification of Lord Nityananda, that he is not like these other so-called people. He is on a different platform. He was Avadut. Lord Nityananda was Avadut. he did not belong to any one particular varna or ashram. He belonged to all of them. He was above all of them because he's the Lord himself. So he was not playing the role of a brahmachari or a grihastha or vanaprastha. He was an avadhuta. He was transcendental to all of these things. And so this way there was going to be some differences. But the differences help to make more sweetness also, and allows us to relish more the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and his followers. Yes.
Hare Krishna. When Adwaita Acharya was calling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at the same time Haridas Thakurji also was calling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Well, Haridas was definitely associated with Adwaita Acharya, but we only hear that Adwaita Acharya was directly responsible for calling Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come. But it is said that when Lord Chaitanya did come, that both Haridas and Adwaita Acharya were dancing and chanting in jubilation. But there's no direct information that Haridas was also worshipping Lord Chaitanya with tulsi leaves and Ganga. This was Adwaita Acharya. We give the credit to Adwaita Acharya for calling the Lord to come. And Lord Chaitanya told that you're the one who called me, that I was resting there in the spiritual world. But you woke me up with your loud chanting, your loud calling. You were calling me to come. But Haridas was always there in the home. He was often there at Shantipur, and he was associating with Adwaita Acharya. So Haridas was always calling the name. He was always calling the name. Whether or not his intention was calling the Lord to come, well, when you call the name, when someone like Haridas calls the Lord is there in the name. The holy name is not different from the Lord. So he was chanting the name in ecstasy. But it does say in the scriptures that both Haridas and Adwaita danced in ecstasy at the time of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. Any other question? What time is the deity greeting? No? Okay. So we can go upstairs. Is it upstairs first? Or here? First here. Oh.